four main areas of the customer service. First of all, we are going to look into the details. What is Dynamics 365 customer service module? Then we will look into some of the terminologies that we are going to use in between, as well as we will see the case life cycle, means how the customer service normally works and what are the parameters, or what are, you can say, the main areas are look into it and how they are normally executed. So from the starting point till the end point, what are the, you can say, phases or stages that we have to cover. We will look into the case life cycle. Then we will also look into the some of the parts about the solution mapping, how, you can say, customer service can be interacted, or it can be, you can say, linked, or you can say map in any kind of the business there. Now, what we have, all of our previous content, whatever we have completed, they are available on our YouTube channel, as well as all kind of, you can see, the presentations. You will also find the OneDrive. And about the session updates, these all, you can say, the topics are already updated on our schedule file. So let's talk about the customer service. What is customer service, or what does it mean in Dynamics 365? So it's just like a small definition from Microsoft Docs. So it's just like a platform, or it's a kind of the tool or set of the features which provides on the top of Dynamics 365 for the customer service people or service oriented representative to manage all kind of the inquiries, means whatever the customer is looking for it, customer is having an issue, problem, questions. This tool will provide them a facility to help and automate all the business processes. It's just like, you can say, case resolution, means whenever there is an inquiry comes, whenever the customer is going to register, or you can say he's having a problem, the customer is logging a case, means the customer is just asking that, okay, he's facing an issue in kind of, you can say, completing his transaction, or he had bought some services from your company, but customer is not satisfied. So all of the information that you are going to process it here. And the Dynamics 365 customer service module, it is going to help to just to manage the workloads and to identify, okay, what is the, you can say, main focus area. Main focus areas means what type of problem the customer is facing, what is the severity, and how you are going to manage your own KPIs. Because as much as you are working with any kind of the customer satisfaction program, so it's very helpful to identify, okay, what are, you can say, bottleneck that you are receiving, what is the main issue that you are facing by the time that you are providing any kind of the product and services to the customer. So these are the complete hub that you will find it within this module. And it will help you in terms of analyze and the turnaround time of your processes, as well as it will help you to automate the business process flows, means whatever the business process that you are going to manage there, so you can manage on the top of it. So that's you can say, the kind of small level of definition of the customer service here. Now, if we talk about the customer journey, so what you will find it there in the customer journey. So first, the part comes here, the customer is having an inquiry, or he is having a complaint. So let's say whenever the customer is approaching you, you would require to just identify what type of information or what type of the request this customer is going to have it. If it is related to an inquiry, means might be possible the customer is asking a question. He wants to know about the product details. He wants to know about the service detail. So very easy to do it. The customer is going to give you a call. He's just sending an email, or he's just filling up the contact us form on your website. This inquiry is come in place and it's going to be processed in the system. So that's the point number one, or you can say this is the starting point of that particular inquiry. Similar way, the customer is having a complaint. He is facing an issue within your services or products or delivery, whatever you can say, he's having the problem. He's just going to raise a complaint. So the touch point, it could be any kind of the omni-channel. Omni-channel, we are talking about whatever the digital mechanism or digital source that the customer is going to use it. Either he's going to contact you by using SMS, he's going to send in you an email, He's going to send you a kind of the feedback form by the time that he's filling up the form, or he's going to reach out the customer care center, directly walk in, or by any mean. All kind of the sources is going to be collected here. So first is the inquiry or complaint that you are going to receive from the customer on any, you can say, the prospect or any kind of potential customer. He's trying to contact the company. So first part we normally cover as the registering an inquiry or a complaint. Now, second part comes here. So as soon as you are going to receive the inquiry or complaint, how you are going to record this information. So first you would require to record the information. Whatever the inputs that you are going to receive it there, you are going to analyze it, and you are going to just start entering the information. So might be possible customer is having a problem in your order processing. He's having the issue in the invoicing. He's having a problem in his, you can say, the delivery or a shipment that it was delivered to his place, it was damaged. So all of the information, whatever the maximum information that you are going to grab it, you are just going to put, or it is going to be managed within the system. So just like a recording that you are going to do it. Either you are going to do it manually, or you are going to use some automated process. So let's take example of email. Whenever you are receiving an email, so what is the first action that email should do? Let's take example in a way that the email is coming in, you can say, going to register in a way that customer is sending you an email on a particular email address. Let's take example, support@company.com. So whenever the customer is going to send an email at support@company.com, what should system do? If there is any automated process is linked with it, so what the system will do, it is just going to create a case record in the system with the maximum information. What could be the maximum information? About the detail, what he's asking about, what is the subject of that particular email, and who is tagged with that particular email. Might be the possible customer is already tagged and he's using the same email address. You are going to record the information. Or by the time the customer is having a call, on the same time, customer representative or customer support guy or any person who is receiving a call, he's just filling the information by the time he is answering to that particular customer. That could be the possible number two. Possibility number three, it could be that the customer is going to fill up the contact us page, or you can say complaint form, and all the information that you are going to grab it there. And the recording of that particular case is going to be registered there. Now, what is the third part is comes here? The third part comes here that you have received the inquiry and you have recorded the information. Now the next stage comes here in a way that you are going to start investigate and research. You need to know by whom this issue or this problem or this complaint it's going to be resolved, who is the responsible person, or who is, you can say, concerned person or concerned team, or if it's related to inquiry, who is going to take care? Either the customer support team, they are going to take care of the same inquiry, or if they are going to route the information, or if they are going to delegate the inquiry to the relevant concerned team so that could be answered. So based on the nature of the issues, or based on the nature of the, you can say, the case, or you can say the inquiry or complaint, you are just going to investigate. You are going to research about what's the customer is having a problem by viewing or by seeing the information, whatever the information that you have captured. You are just going to transfer or delegate to the relevant team. So as soon as the team they are receiving the information, definitely they have to act based on the nature of the work they have to do. Let's take example, if they are facing a problem in a complaint, that means that they have a complaint. So what is the action they have to do? They have to respond back about the cause issue as soon as they are going to use in a way that they are just going to facilitate the customer to resolve it. But if it is related to a question, so definitely they are going to come up with some answer, and they are going to provide the answer to the particular customer about his needs. Let's take example that the customer is asking about the prices, customer is asking about the service facilities, or customer is asking about the option that he can avail. So all of the answer that the relevant team that they are going to provide, or they are going to share with the customer with any mean. Let's say he's going to just submit a case, he's just going to resolve. By the time of the resolution, the customer service team, they are going to provide the information. That's the number one. Second one, if you're going to send a detail in an email, or it is going to send an SMS, or it could be just like a reply back on any post that the customer can provide. So it could be anything. Means the solution can be shared with the customer by the time that he is going to resolve it. So these are the all stages that you will find it there across any kind of the organization. This is the generic one, but it could be tailored, it could be modified based on the business requirement, business scenarios here. So that's the only, you can say, 4 stages that we normally cover. It could be possible that the case is going to be resolved within a matter of minutes. It may take hours, or it may take days. It totally depends on the scenarios. And these are all scenarios that we are going to see, or we are going to look into the system here. What are the possibilities that we are going to work on it? Now, let's talk about some of the terminologies that we will have in consideration, or let's say we will talk about in particularly for the customer service. First part is related to the case. So whatever the case that it will show, you will see it here, just kind of the incident, or it's a kind of the question the customer is asking, or customer is having a complaint, or a request from the customer end. So it could be a kind of the record that it is going to be created at the time of the inquiry, or a complaint, or a question that you are received here. But the context, it should be within the customer here. Yes.
Yeah. So sorry. First of all, apologies. I'm a bit late today. Okay.
No problem. No problem.
So in some system, this is known as ticket query, as he said. Adnan said, ticket is also very common word which is used.
Exactly. Ticket, queue, you can say it, but queue is a different way in CRM, but the queue normally is here. So you can name it anything, but it's a kind of a record. It's a kind of the record that you have input all the information, whatever is the requirement, means what the customer is asking for, what is the detailed description, what are the other attributes, means what type of case is this, who is the concerned person, what is the, you can say, the more related about the products and the contract with the customer. You are going to tag all the information here. So this is the kind of the case that you will see here, and cases everywhere. You will find the case in the sales, you will find the case in the customer service, you will also find the case in the similarly in the marketing as well in the field service. So case is just like a customer request that you are going to receive. So customer request can be a 2 ways. One is the sales part, which you normally call it as an inquiry that you have received. But if the inquiry is related to any kind of the business deal that you are going to do with the customer, it's an inquiry or a lead. But let's say it's related to a question, or it's related to some of the complaint that you are going to you are going to direct it to the case here. But there could be a possibility the customer is asking for some product and services, and he wants to do some business. So what the customer service can do, they are just going to move the or you can say route the customer information or their details or their questions to the relevant team in terms of the inquiry. So there could be a possibility that you can have it there. So first part is the case.
I think Nan, let's also just so the most important information that Adnan already said, I'll just summarize it if you allow me. That is the who is logging the issue, case, or query, incident, whatever. That is your customer or requester. Then what is the source, which is very important. The source could be through an email, through a call center agent, through a website interaction, or any, in case of IoTs, in some cases, devices can also input automatically if there is a fault in there. Okay, then what is the priority of that case? Priority is very important field, because based on the priority, you can define routing rules, and you can define SLAs. That Adnan will definitely give you more brief on the SLA part. So these, I think, is one of key information. And then what is the, I mean, description and other things definitely will be there, but these key parameters will define rest of the process.
That's true. That's true. And a part of it, and there's a very important thing is the case is the, you can say, primary record, or so you can say the key record that you are going to maintain. It starts from the end, and it will be, you can say, till exist till the execution and the resolution. So it will remain as is. And based on this particular record, you are going to build the KPIs also. Means you can consider this particular information as a master information. Similarly, that you have the opportunities, codes. We talk about the sales order. So those are the all master records. Same thing it applies here. The case is a master record that it is having all on the information or all kind of the association with it. Then we have the activities. So activities, what you can say it here, what kind of the correspondence, what kind of you can say the communication that you are going to have it with the customer, within your internal team, or even within within the same organization. So in form of email communication, appointment, phone call, whatever you can say the conversation that you are going to handle it here, so it will come under the activities part. And the activities the similar way that we have seen in the sales module that you are going to manage under the timelines there. So whatever you can say the appointment that you are going to book with the customer, what kind of the appointment that you are going to set it up on the behalf of your team, with the customer, or within the internal team, you're going to manage under the activities. Then you have the entitlement. Entitlement is just like a contract that you are going to have with the customer. It's just like a scope of work that you are going to define, where you are going to set it up some of the information which is primarily required to manage the level of the support that you are going to provide, what kind of support you can provide. So let's take example that you are going to provide a number of cases that the customer should can raise. You are going to define some terms and condition on it. So let's take example that you are going to define a number of phone calls, number of cases, number of emails that you can send and receive to the customer. So you're just going to define the scope here. It is not applicable for everywhere, but it's only applicable for the service oriented company where you have a predefined contract with the customer, that you're just going to put it there how many hours, how many you can say number of incident can be placed. It normally manages within the service oriented or the people who are providing the support to the you can say their customer. But it's not highly you can say used because the entitlement is only for the service, because it might be possible you have some time and material based activity that you are going to manage. The enhancement that you can see it here under the field services, where you can have a predefined contract where you are going to define some incident time, where you're going to define the product as well as the scope. Everything will comes there, but entitlement is just like a small scope that you are going to define there. Then there is a knowledge base where you are going to define all kind of the FAQs, whatever the articles, whatever you can case studies that you are going to maintain. You can maintain there under the knowledge base here. Knowledge base, they are going to just help the customer service representative as well as to the customer if it is exposed or you can say that article is available online. They are just going to provide some basic level information, from the basic level information to the till the advanced level of information. So what kind of the frequently asked questions you will see normally there. So they are normally defined under the customer service. And it's just like information that you are going to receive. Let's take example, the customer is having a complaint on the printer is not working on a particular brand. So might be possible there is a product issue or model issue, or it could be a possibility that there is some known issue. And this issue is they are defined under the some you can say kind of the frequently asked question, so that the frequently asked question can be used by the time the customer support they are providing the services. That's number one. He's just going to look into the details about the steps they are mentioned. He's just going to ask it. Plus it will be helpful to just tag the information what kind of assistance the user had provided to the customer. So just like you can say the information or extraordinary information that you are going to maintain under the knowledge articles there. And even though you can also convert the cases under the knowledge articles, might be possible that you have faced first time this issue and you want to convert everything under the knowledge base, you can also do it. The beauty of this knowledge base is there that the Dynamics 365 knowledge base can be used on your CRM portal. So it's directly exposed. So whatever the customer is going to create any case or it is just going to report any issue, by the time system will also prompt by using some AI mechanism. System will identify what the keywords, topics, products. It will try to filter it out and showcase on the portal there. Then there is a queue where you will able to see the information related to the organizing the stuff. So queue you can consider it as just like bucket that you are going to have it, and you are just going to put everything under your bucket, in your bucket, and in bucket you are just going to take out the detail, and you are going to work on it. It's just like a sequential based record keeping, and you are going to maintain in a way that you are going to organize it, and you are going to start working on it one by one. So let's take example in this way. Whenever you are giving a call to any help center, so they normally put you on a hold. By the time all the representative, all the teller, they are busy. So this is the same concept it is being used here. So whatever the information or whatever the request that you are working on it, you can put it there in the queue, or you can assign the queue to the relevant team, or it could be an open or it could be a closed queue. And the people who are having the access, they are just going to work on the specific queue. By the time they are going to pick up, they are going to resolve it. If they are not going to resolve, if it is a very sophisticated or complex scenario, they are going to delegate. So just going to pick up the item, and they are going to release it there. So we will also look into this detail, this particular option by the time that we are working on the customer service module. And that's important point that you will see there, which we call it as a service level agreement. That's very comprehensive and very, you can say, uh, Microsoft takes the advantage here that you can define a turnaround time with based on any type of the criteria that you are going to have it. So let's take an example that you are going to have it there, that you have a criteria for different layers of the customer. So let's take an example that you have the gold customer, you have the silver, or you have bronze. Gold, you have the turnaround time within an hour. For silver, you have a turnaround time. Turnaround time, I'm talking about the response time that you are going to give to the customer, or try to resolve the issue as soon as possible. So whatever you can say guaranteed time that you are going to offer to the customer, you are going to provide some levels there. So let's say for the gold, you are going to commit then, okay, whatever the inquiries they are receiving, they will try to resolve it within an hour. But for silver, you have the committed agreed time that 4 hours that you are going to, within a 4 hour that you are going to resolve the issue. But for the bronze, you are going to commit it there, okay, within a day, or you can say 8 hour shift, the case is going to resolve. So SLA will help you in this regard. So whatever the case is going to be registered, SLA is going to assign. It could be assigned based on the configuration that whatever you are going to have it. Similar way, it could be a possible that you have very comprehensive logic. Might be possible based on the customer request type as well as customer need. There is a different turnaround time is there. So let's take example that if you are working with some transportation industry. So in transportation, there are two levels of the business that you will find it there. One is the operation side, where all the logistics, they are moving around, whatever you can say territory they are managing. And similar way, they have the head office. Head office, they have some, you can say, time limit here, 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 8 to 5. Totally depends whatever the time turnaround, or you can say the office timing they are following. But on the other hand, the operation team, they are working 24/7. They have the different KPIs there. They have the different, you can say, turnaround time here. So might be possible the customer is asking about his container or his, you can say, package, which is supposed to be delivered, but it's damaged. If he's going to complain, there is a turnaround time that you are going to respond back to the customer, or you are going to resolve the issue within an hour. So operation SLA is different than the office SLA. So you can also define the different segmentation. That's the beauty here in this particular system. Not only the SLA could be used within the customer service, it can be used within your sales module also, as well as the custom build module that you are going to have it. You can also apply the same SLA there. So you can monitor all kind of the KPIs within your scope there. So let's take example that you have the SLA is implemented for the sales, means the inquiry, whatever is going to inquiry registered within a day or within an hour, it should be moved further. Either you can say that you have contacted the customer, or it is going to be disqualified based on the decision that you are going to make it. So you can also define the SLA there. Similar way, you can also define the SLA for the order processing. Means you are going to place an quotation and you want to get the confirmation within a week time frame, or you want the confirmation within a day or 2 days time frame. You can apply the SLA over there. Similar way, you are going to forward the information that, okay, the customer or the sales team, they are working on it, they need to respond back to the customer based on his requirement within a certain time period. You can apply there. Same thing applies there in the customer service. Whatever the information, whatever the customer is having the issue or a complaint request, there should be some ticker. You can say there should be some timer should go on. Then you have some creation rules. Creation rules, again, it can be applied for the sales as well as for the customer service based on the nature, based on the activities that you are going to record, what information should be captured and system should create record automatically based on different types of categories. So let's take example of email, which I mentioned earlier, that the customer is sending the support or complaint or any, you can say, question at a certain email address at let's take example of support@company.com. What system should do? System should create a case. System should create a lead. This is the way that you are going to capture it here. So let's say whenever the customer is contacting you on a certain email address, system should create a case there. Let's say customer is having a business opportunity and he's going to send in a request on the sales@company.com. System should create an inquiry. So you can also convert or you can create a creation rule to create the lead there. Similar way, whenever you are receiving a phone call, whenever you are receiving a support activity, system should do it. But it normally works only for the activity-based entity. So you can define on the top of it. Then in the last way is an interesting mode that you will see as a routing rules. And the routing rules, it will help you to delegate the people. You are going to reassign, share the information based on the criteria that you have mentioned. It's not a delegate. You can consider it's an assignment. Means based on the certain timing. Let's take example. The customer is having an issue with the invoicing. Means let's say it's overcharged. Customer is overcharged, and customer he's placed a complaint. Overcharge issue. It's matter of the finance department. So based on the case type, that you can divert the information to the relevant team. Similar way, customer is having a problem on the logistics. Means the customer has received a damaged product or damaged container. It should you can say assigned to the team from the operation team. Similar way, the customer is overpriced by the time that he is going to place an order. It should assign to the case. So these are the concerned team you are going to route the information. So routing rules is defined there regardless whatever is the information that you have. Based on the criteria, you are going to define who is the responsible next. So let's take example. As soon as you are receiving any inquiry, so it's related to the finance. Finance will take care of it. As soon as the finance they have completed their job, it should route it back to the customer care. So same mechanism that you can apply there automatically, regardless the person who is operating a system, he knows who is the relevant team or not. He's just going to save the information and system will take care of its own. It's just going to route the information automatically based on the condition, based on the criteria, or the, you can say, the configuration setting that you have made there. So these are the 8 major points that we have just covered. It's just like a terminology that we are going to talk about by the rest of the, you can say, upcoming 3 days. We will heavily look into the case, activities, entitlement, knowledge base, use, SLA, which is service level agreement, case creation rule, as well as the routing rule. So these are the 8 areas that we are going to cover on a very, you can say, high note in the next 3 days. Now, let's take example of what is the sample scenario that we can see it here. So it could be here. So everything you will find it there. Whatever we have spoken about a little while ago, you will see everything here. You have the customer with the gold category who have the entitlement of 15 cases. Means 15 cases you are going to, means the customer can have it as a free of cost, or you are going to set a priority. And the customer can contact you by any means. Either he is going to fill up the contact us or complaint form. He's just going to contact you on mobile app, or you can say by using the mobile, by connecting, you can say the web page. He's going to send an SMS or a WhatsApp message. He's going to send you an email or phone call. It could be anything, any, you can say, omni-channel mean that he can use. These are the old one, but now there is a social media is also coming in. Means it is going to, the customer is going to contact on the Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Insta. So whatever the approach could be there, so it will be going to capture, or you can say these are the channels that we are going to use it. Now you have the rule which is applied, which is the auto creation. System will create based on the creation rule that you have applied. And at the same time, system will also define, because at the time that the system is going to create any case, system will already identify, okay, he's the customer with this email or his, you can say, contact ID. System should also allocate with the title here or in title. And the based on entitlement, the agent will be selected. How the agent is going to be selected? Either it's a manual process, means the case will be created, and after the creation, someone is going to allocate it. That's the rule number one, which is the manual case scenario. Rule number two, you're just going to create the case under one queue, means you are going to assign it to the specific queue who is taking care by the priority that you are going to set it up. And the rule number three, which is coming up here, which is nowadays it's you can say wave 2, I think 2021 release, where you can also unify the assignment based on the load of the agents they are having here. So let's take example that the three of the agents they are working, and three agents means two of them they are heavily working on some of the scenarios. They have, you can say, 85% of the you can say allocation they have already allocated, and 15% they are only available, but there is another agent, he is only available, you can say, 50%. So the most the person who has the most, you can say, less work, he is going to allocate there. So you can also define the assignment rule in this new release also. Now you have the stages here. You can have the scenario where you can have the business stages, where you can see the levels that the user, or you can say the business process, has to navigate or he has to work there. So you can see, same way that we have worked on the sales, we have seen that we have the identification, we have the means the qualification, we have the identification qualification, we have the develop, we have propose, and we have the close. Similar way in the customer service, we have three stages, which comes with the by default with Microsoft. But even though you can also enhance it, you can increase the number of stages as per your need. So it could be identify, research, or resolve. So first identification means you are going to just identify the information, the request or the complaint the customer is having. Then you are going to assign it to someone to research on it. It will go to the research stage. Then at the end, there's a resolution. Not It's not you can say required that you are going to use with the system based processes. You can have your own business model, business stages, business processes, totally depends there. So in the traditional way, or you can say it's a standard way, what the action will be happen? Case is created. It's going to be assigned to the agent. Agent, he's working on it, and agent, he is going to identify the information from the knowledge base. Either he knows about it. If he doesn't know, then he is going to look into the correlated information in the form of, you can say, the historical case studies, in the form of knowledge-based articles. So whatever the best resolution he's going to identify, he's going to allocate there. Or if it is not that, if it's related to that concerned team, he's just going to forward the request to the relevant team, and the relevant team, they are going to take its action. And as soon as it is going to resolve at the resolution, the case will be directed from his entitlement. So that's the, you can say, the traditional way that we normally work on it on the customer service you can say scenario there. Now if we talk about the ecosystem, how it looks like, so it looks like a very big frame here, where you have the channels. You can see it over here on the top of layer that the customer is going to take a correspondence, or he's going to contact you with a different source or different channels, or by any mean he's going to use. He's going to use the internet, he's having the phone call, he's sending an SMS, he's having a chat on WhatsApp, or you can say on any messenger. He's having a social profile, and through the social profile or social channel, he's going to contact you, or he's going to visit your place, or your any person, or you say company representative. He met the customer on any IoT device. So that could be any kind of information that you can see it here. This is a sort of information that you can get it there. And how you are going to interact, there could be a communication channels, because you have a telephony system, you have the in-store, which comes with the Surface, you have the self-service website, or even your own custom website also. You have the chat, SMS, video, co-browsing, which is normally used for the assisting the customer, email. social, or IoT. So there's all a communication that channel can be used there. At the time of the communication channel, you have the bots in between. You can also enable it, which is the AI-based bot, which we normally call it as a virtual agent, which normally helps the customer based on the questions the customer is asking, and whatever the best answer is available in the form of the knowledge base. So based on our information, what the system will do, it is going to create a case. It's the customer is going to have a contracts or the agreements. Contract we normally call it there, which comes here in the customer service. Now this is going to be deprecated with the agreements here. So now you normally call it as an agreement that you are going to have with the customer, and inside the agreement that you are going to enable the entitlements. Then you have the SLA, and based on all the information the customer, the sales agent, he's also not sales agent, he's a customer service agent. They have the dashboard, they have the knowledge base, and they know about what's the best action they are going to do there. So that's the complete cycle that you will find it there under the dynamic 365 customer engagement. Along with it, you have the option that where you can collect the information, feedback, or you can say the response in the form of survey, as well as there is an enhanced version of the service delivery is there in the form, you can say is a field service, where you can define the scheduling for the people who are going to engage, who are going to interact, as well as you can also plan the dispatch of the service here. So it's a kind of the maintenance service, a kind of the service delivery that you are going to do for within the separate module, which you normally call it as a field service there. Now, for the supervisor, what they need to know, okay, what's being happening in my system. So they need to know about the cases. They need to see about all the KPIs, whatever is set it up here. They have to see about the queues, means what is the incoming bound is coming up here, how much load the agents they are experiencing, and what is the rule of the assignment they are going to have it. Again, it's the same thing that you are going to look into the kind of the insights that you want to see as a single kind of the dashboard, where you're just going to evaluating, okay, who is doing what kind of response rate, what is the average rate that you are going to get it here, customer is satisfied or not, what is the tendency of the creation of a rule, what type of the cases they are registering on the regular basis, what are the known issue, what are the new issue that you have identified. So that's the complete information that you will see there. Along with it, you have another module, we normally call it customer insight, where you have the 360 degree of the information, either for the related to the sales, their purchases, their complaints, their contacts with the organizations. You will see each and everything in a very unified form under the customer insight. Then for the administration point of view, you have the customer, or you can say user management, the complete user management, who is doing what kind of role they are going to assign, either the agent, supervisor, manager, director. So what kind of the agents, I mean, what are kind of the user that you are going to up, you can say they have the authority to use the system, as well as there is application management, means what kind of module that you are going to activate it there, how the omni channels are they are going to configure, what are the, you can say, SLA configuration they are going to manage it there. So there are a lot of, you can say, application related configuration, you will find it there. Then in terms of, we talk about any automation, then we have the Power Automate as well as Logic apps, where you can automate the business models within the system and outside the system here. So within the system, the Power Automate is applicable. Similar way, you have the processes which is inbuilt in the system. You can take the help of the system defined workflows, or Power Automate, or Logic apps on the other hand, if it is outside the system, which comes under the Azure there. Then again, the integration that you can define there, either it's application to application integration, or there is any channel integration that you are going to define there. And in the end, once you have all the data compilation is available, that you are going to visualize the information, visualize the data which is captured by in the form of CDS, which is Common Data Service, if you can use it. Similar way, you can have the Power BI tool, which comes again under the, you can say, Power Apps framework there. Up till now, any question? There is a big silence. I saw there are some questions were there, so I think Wahaj, you have answered, right?
Yeah.
Wahaj already answered the question. Yes.
Yeah. So Nada's question is interesting. What she's saying is what we've learned is all customers are important equally, but then we say we have to define some priority based on customer type and all. So I said yes, all customers are important, but when we do business, we have different kind of agreements which each type of customer or service we provide. So there are some kind of segregations also. So it could be the type of services you provide, type of products you sell. You have to prioritize some over the others, and then type of issue. If you have two customers, then one is having a failure, which is more important, right? Than a query. So definitely we have to prioritize the failures. So that's how things work. So we are not saying the other customer is query is not important, but right now the matter of fact, if we look at it, failures are more important than the query. So that's how we have to define some kind of uh, priorities and SLAs. Please
That's
Adnan,
true.
continue.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Exactly. Exactly. So also you can define there. Actually, it's a currently it's a automated. It's not an automated process. You can also define the automated process based on the scenarios that it can be met. Means you can also define set of the rules. That's the one thing you can do it, or you can also automate it. Again, it totally depends on the scenario or a business requirement. Means let's take example. There is a corporate customer is a category A, also a gold category. So every time the case whatever is going to be created, you are going to treat as a high priority. So you can put it there as a high or a severity level one. And again, it totally depends in a way that you are going to define them under the type. Means it's related to the operational issue. So it's mean it should be prioritized as a very high priority. You can also define. So currently, system supports any kind of the information that you are going to define. It's totally as a configuration that we can do it there. Okay, so I hope Wahaj and me we have answered the question. And similarly, I think we have the question from Fasi. Who is responsible to allocate the case to the correct queue, like gold SLA? Okay, so it could be automated process. So you can define the automated process over there. That's the one. Second thing is you are by the time that you are going to evaluate of the customer, you are going to assign them manually. So it could be automated process, could be automatic again based on the criteria. And also you can also define the routing rule. So it's going to define automatically there. So as soon as it's going to be applicable, it's going to be assigned there. So I hope I have answered the question. And let's go with the next part, which we have, or we have some other question also. We have the question from Uzair. Service level agreement is something about the response by the sales rep or a different type of customer like yes, exactly, it could be the same, means it could be the different based on the type of the customer. You can define there what SLA you are going to configure, or you are just going to do it manually. So totally depends, doesn't matter. Okay, now what we are going to do in the next answer you, Wahad, you can also see if there is any question that we can put it here. In the meanwhile, you can reply back. Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
perfect, perfect. So let's look into the journey of a Chacha Shakura. We are going to look into the journey, how it normally works there. So let's take example that there is a one Chacha Shakura. He's going to contact it. So in the real time scenario, or you can say in the standard business mechanism, what normally happens here. So Chacha ji, they are going to contact you either a phone call. We are thinking that the Chacha is so advanced that he is using the chat feature or he's using the social channel. So he's just going to interact with the company. And by the time they are going to do the interaction, virtual agent or a real agent, they are going to talk to him. Virtual agent means where the chatbot is going to be enabled, and the chatbot is, you can say, hosted on your website, or if you are going to use a CRM portal where you are going to put it there, or a real-time agent is there, and the agent he is just going to reply back whatever the queries or whatever you can say the questions the Chacha is asking for it. Based on the input that the agent is going to identify, we can assume that the answer from the agent it is not qualified, and Chacha is still he wants to proceed further. So what it will system will do it here based on the inputs, based on the information that they are captured. Appointment can be made. That's the scenario one. Means might be possible he is asking someone to visit his place to do some service, to do some maintenance work, or to respond back. Or might be possible that he is going to log the case or launch the inquiry based on his requirement. At the time of these information, the agent is going to be assigned. There could be a possibility that the same agent he's going to look into the details, or the different agent he's going to take in. Okay. Means one person he's just going to interact it. By the time other person or other team dedicated team person they are going to work on it, then the case is going to be created and the case is going to be assigned here. Now things come here in between. You can see it here. Previously it is being happening out of the system there, so you can identify this the phone call application is there, the website was there, or you can say any source of the mean was used here. There is a virtual agent or real agent mechanism that is interacting. Again, is going to be interacted within the system here. And the agent assignment, agent case creation, there's a within the system, it start working on it. And at a time of any action happen, now the system gives you the functionality that you can also interlink, you can collaborate internally by using Microsoft Teams. Means the internal collaboration is now activated. If the Microsoft Teams is going to be used, so you are going to do the internal collaboration. Means might be possible the agents or the case owner he's going to seeking the information, he's going to seek getting you can say collaboration with the internal team. So within the team that they can do it here. So one is concluded means everything is okay, they have responded back whatever you can say the customer having an issue, or in our case Chacha was having an issue, it was resolved. Now we at the time of the closure we are going to send a survey to the Chacha. And Chacha, either based on his experience, either he's going to give us a positive feedback or a negative feedback. Totally depends how he's going to interact there. So that's like you can say a small level, or you can say it's a kind of you can say the journey part we normally define there under the system here. What are the means that the user is going to use it, and what are the actions that the user is going to manage on the top of it. Any question till now? I think there is a big silence here. Supposing everything is okay. Okay. So now there is a scenario number 2 comes in place here. In the scenario number 2, what you have it here, there is a customer request. And then in the customer request, customer is contacting you by any mean, either through SMS, through live chat, even let's say now external collaboration is on the top of Microsoft Teams, or is going to contact on WhatsApp. If he's using the Line, WeChat, Facebook, Twitter, or even custom connector is available. So these are the all channels normally Microsoft supports there by its own connector, or you can say the premium connector, or you can say third-party component. Not all of the channels are supported now. So based on the communication the customer is having it here, and based on the type, and from here you can see there could be a type of any mean kind of the business that you are going to do it. Let's say you are providing the loans, there is a loan facility, there is a forex, means a foreign exchange that you are going to manage there, there is a credit card, saving account, debit. So there's a kind of the financial institute that you are going to manage there. So based on the customer request, the customer is asking or he's having a request for his credit card. So based on the availability of the agent, system is going to define who is going to take care of it. So there's a load balancer that you can see it here, and we normally call it as a unified allocation or unified assignment is there. That's only applicable whenever you are going to enable the teams in a way that whatever the request is going to be covered, and based on some scenarios, who is going to take care as a priority. Either it's a unified one, means equally distributed equally, or who is going to get the priority there. So it totally depends on the business logic. So you can define either you can say hard type of the assignment, or you can have the soft assignment, or you have the equal assignment there. And again, it's totally based on the scenario that you are going to execute on the top of it there. Now we have some scenarios. If we talk about expect, you can say exactly that we talk about a sample scenario. Again, same thing that we have just replicated here. That's the, you can say, the purely defined for specific you can say stages that we normally put it there. You have the phone call, you have any kind of the information that you are going to capture in the form of the complaint, in the form of the inquiry, you're going to capture it here. So in this case, what we have it here, the Nancy is, she's going to place a phone call for a service, and that phone call, they have the dispatcher, which is, you can say, the phone call activity is going to be logged there. Now it might be possible the IVR system is enabled. If it is enabled, system will also track all the information there, or the agent or the person who is receiving the call, he's just going to fill up the information. So by the time whatever the information that the customer agent they have you can say he recorded, now on through the phone call, what can he can do it here, he can convert or route the information from the phone call activity to the case there. So you can convert the phone call to the case here, or directly you can create the case. Again, depends on the business process that what is applied. In normal tradition, it's the activity to the case there. So whatever that you are receiving the email, you have the appointment, you have the phone call, first you have to record the activity. Afterwards, you are going to convert to the case, and the rest of the process will continue there in the form of identification of the information, or identification of the inquiry or complaint that what the customer is asking for it here. Then research, where you are going to identify what is the cause, issue, and the resolution. Either the problem is solved, or you have shared the information to the customer here. In between, you have some of the, you can say, stages there that you are going to add some of the activities. You are doing some internal collaboration, you are doing have some appointment with the customer, you are also conducting some phone calls in between. Everything will be recorded there, and at the time of the case creation or case resolution, system will also help you to identify how much time did you spend on this particular case with different means about, you can say, the time of the appointment, timing of your phone call, email activity, or whatever the task you have completed. So all of the record will be captured, and in the end you can log the hours at the time of the resolution. So either you can bill the customer if it is the billable, or if even though you can also track the billable hours, means how much hours that you have consumed in between. Now let's look into the system, how it looks like, and what are the information that we can see here. I'm just going to give you a high level walkthrough of the system, how it looks like. Then we will see our next part, how we are going to continue. So I'm just going to open up my section here. Let me just open my screen. Just give me a moment. And I'm just going to open up here. Yes. Okay. So at the time of the environment that you are going to use it, again, we have set up a one demo environment, and in which you can see the all apps which are available. As we went through in our previous session, that you have the option that as soon as you are going to add any module, the apps will be available here, even though you can have your own apps, totally scenario based business process can be covered there. So as we are using the customer service hub, and we are just going to use it here. And in the customer service hub, you will see the same information in a different manner, in a different mechanism, but the sequence is same, where you have the option that to see your dashboard. So let me just change some of the date parameters so that the information can be full. You can say it can be full with some of the good amount of the data. I'm just going to put it here. Let me just put it here. Let me apply it with the 2021, because system is taking care only the current quarter here. So now I'm just going to enable show visual. So now the first part is the dashboard that you are going to see it here. And there are plenty of dashboards are available. One is, you can say, the interactive dashboards, and there is also a dashboard Dynamics 365 normal dashboard. Even you can also embed the Power BI dashboards there. So again, the same mechanism that we have covered, and we will go through with all of the details one by one that we are going to cover the topic there. Then we have the activities, which comes under the my work there. Then you have the segmentation of the customer, means the customer could be account or a contact, who is the contacting person from you. So you can define there, either you are going to manage all the customer under the accounts, or you are going to split it down account and the context, totally depends. So customer are segmented there. Similar way, now this section is separated here, where you have the complete case management and the queue management. Under the cases, you will see all kind of the cases which are going to record, means whatever the customer has a question, customer has a problem, any kind of the requests that the customer he has submitted, it is going to be managed under the case here. So in the next section, we will also cover in the detail, okay, what are the mechanisms that you are going to do it in the form that the case is going to be created, what are the ways to create a case, how the case is going to respond back, what are the routing rule that we are going to apply, how the SLA normally works. We will go one by one here within our next upcoming session here. Now, that's beauty. It's come here in terms of the insight. Again, we will also cover in detail once we will start, you can say, playing with the customer service. You will see the insight here in the form of customer service insight as well as knowledge bit insight. So that's the new thing comes here in the Dynamics 365 in the most recent updates. At the time that you are going to use the customer service, the data is going to be filled based on the information, or it's going to be going to populate based on information that it is being processed here. So let's take example that I'm just going to process by 365 days. By default, it's at 30 days. So within 365 man days, what I'm just going to see it here, I wanted to see, okay, how many are the incoming? So I can see there is a tradition of 4 point, not 4 point, is a complete is 600, so because it started from there. So let's take example, not 360, I'm just going to put it in 90 days. So it should show some graphical good credency there. Let it be refresh, and from here what I can see on the top there, again it's 90, so I think it's the same thing here. So let me just do one thing. If something we have 60 days, or even we can do the 30 days. So I just wanted to see here. Now you can see about the 60 man days. I can see the trend here, how many cases were created in between there, how many are the active cases since then, what are the escalation happen, means how many escalated, means the case was not resolved within that time frame, what is the average resolution time in hours, about the customer satisfaction on an average, and even this customer, you can say, service sentiment. So from here I can easily identify what kind of information is being processed, how it looks like, the customer is satisfied or not, and what is the tendency that I'm seeing it here. So that's the KPI that you can see, and you will see a very high level information from here. And similarly, you can see the tendency of the case creation, means it's showing you from last year November till today, what is the tendency of the cases here, about the volume of the status here by incoming channels, which is so that's a complete report. You can see it here, and you can easily identify how many cases are incoming with the different channels, still they are active, what are the escalated, how many are resolved. So you can see the KPIs here in a very drastic way there. So that's the all KPIs that we will cover by the time that we are going to use it, or we are going to work on it as a part of training there. Then you have the knowledge articles, you will see it here. Then if we are going to use any say IoT devices, so we can define it there, as well as we have the email templates to be used to send out the customer responses. I mean, to send an email as a response, or what kind of information that you are going to process there. So initially, what we will do by the time that we are going to start our next section on Thursday, we will start working on each and every element here. So primarily, we will focusing on the three main areas. One part, it will be the case management. As well as we will see how the SLAs they are going to be set it up. What are the main areas that we have to consider? How the queues they are going to you can say define there, as well as what are the mechanisms to capture the case there, and what is the path that we are going to follow to complete the resolution there. Rest of the other part, which is related to the IoT as well as the reporting, because it's more related to the field service. So as soon as we are going to cover the field service, we will also look into the details on the IoT devices. Now, I think we have covered maximum part of our today's session. And yes, that was the end of our today's session. So there was a question from Nada that escalate, evaluate the performance of agent as well based on number of inquiries he or she attended in a typical time frame. Yes, exactly. You can also set up the KPIs based on it and how much time they have spent on the particular case, and what is the, you can say, turnaround time. Either they are completing the case within the time frame or not, or even how many escalation happen and what are the scenarios that was happened by the time the case was registered or case is not responded in a particular time frame. So you can also define there. So, what we have covered today as a take home, we have completed the explanation about Dynamics 365 customer service, and we also looked at about the customer service scenarios and the solution mapping. And we will also look into the further details in within our upcoming sessions. And we would like to share some of the details with you by, you can say, clicking, you can say, having this links where you can start following the learning path around the customer service. So it will help you to understand what are the main features available and how it can be mapped there on the top of it. And regarding there was also a discussion we were having there that about the lab exercises that we are going to cover, and what we encourage you everyone to at least set up a demo or a trial instance. By the time of the next week we will start working on some you can say labs where we are going to start mapping the solution for the customer service as well as for the sales. So if anyone wants any help in terms of setting up the trial, please let us know. We will help them to set up their own environment and they can start playing it. And by the time that we are going to practice any exercise, that it will be helpful for everyone to just be on the same page by the time that we are working. Okay. So what we are going to cover in our next session will be the part two of our customer service, in which we will look into the details on the case management, as well as we will look into the knowledge base management and the case routing. Along with it, we will also see some of the part of the SLA, but major part we are going to cover under the service management, because in the service management is a complete, you can say, configuration that we will look into it. Means how you are going to define the SLA, how you are going to define the team hierarchy, as well as how you are going to define some of the criterias which are going to fulfill based on the scenario. So everything will be covered under the service management, but you can say maximum portion that we will try to cover up our in next session, which will be on this Thursday. So there is a mistake here. Thursday, it should be Thursday Jan 13th. Okay, so I think we should conclude before the time. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Really appreciate for your time, and really appreciate for everything that we have covered. And if you have any question in between, please feel free to ask us. And we will see you again on Thursday, inshallah.
Thursday.
God bless you.
Okay, guys. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.